recording now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Trying to Be Better with Joel and Steve podcast.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
What do you mean? What did you think this was, a baking podcast?
I think in full disclosure, we were both just bitching about our jobs.
We were both just complaining, and I was like, I don't want that to be the topic this week. So we were going to talk about this other thing, and we just totally took a right turn.
We took a right turn.
Yeah, that's for the paywall Patreon
right
supporters to know our bitch sessions about our wonderful, amazing jobs that we actually do love to do.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Remind me. You know, I told you 3 months ago when I got my job that, you know, you were going to have to, there was going to come a day where you're going to be like, hey, Steve, remember how cool this was?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Today's that day.
Well, that's also the issue with having like a quote unquote dream job, which I have. I'm totally copping to that. But it's like also sometimes jobs are jobs, work, and sometimes it's stressful, and personalities are
that's the thing is that, like, I love my job, but if they weren't paying me, I probably wouldn't go for as much.
Well, that's the sadistic, horrible part of what I do as a theater artist, is that I have done this and worked twice as hard for zero pay, and probably would because I'm a hopeless theater artist.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Anyway, well, we're not going to bitch about that today. So welcome to the podcast. We're glad everybody's here. It was really cool to have Brian on last week.
Wasn't that fun?
That was great, man. And it got me to thinking, like, what ghosts from my past could we have on this podcast? I think that'd be interesting to do that. Yeah. But so did you have any, like, when you listen back to it, like, wow, like, did anything come up as you?
Yeah, I think the fundamental thing that I felt re-listening to it was just how awesome it is that I'm friends with Brian.
Yeah.
You know, like, just a really profound sense of gratitude, both that, you know, we've both ended up okay, and that we're still in contact, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, like, the odds of us getting smashed together were so slim, you know. And here we are
too, like, you know, I don't have kids, you do. I would imagine that at a certain point, I mean, it takes concerted effort to sow a friendship over that amount of time. And you kind of look at the people that are you still connected with somehow, and it's like, you know, that's cherished stuff.
Well, it's kind of weird, like, because with Brian and I's relationship, we don't talk that often. We don't, just because we're busy and he lives 1,500 miles away, you know.
Yeah.
But when we do, and we've talked about this, we just sit down and start talking again.
Yeah, picks right back up.
Yeah. There's literally no moment of like, so what are we going to talk about? You know, that's not a thing. We just start talking again. It's great.
Yeah, man, that's great. Well, thanks, Brian, for being on the pod. It was cool to meet you. So what are we talking about tonight, Steve?
You had a thing.
I have a thing.
I got a thing.
I have a thing.
You got a thing. Everybody's got a thing.
Who is that?
George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic.
Okay, I need to know all.
I was listening to Mark Maron interviewing Bootsy Collins this week.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I need to get
so
back.
Awesome.
I think I've been listening to way too much wholesome Buddhist Dharma.
No, dude,
I need Maron. I need some Maron.
Yeah. He's had some good people on lately.
Okay.
Kate Winslet, Bootsy Collins come to mind. Yeah. And if you haven't listened to the Michael J. Fox W2F,
I haven't yet.
It's so good. I mean, obviously we're inspiring people.
Sure.
But
sure, of course.
But listening to Maron interview Michael J. Fox is just because he's so just like full of life and joy.
Yeah.
In spite of his, you know, fatal condition.
Yeah, dude.
And he's like, yeah, it's like he's a perfect embodiment of like Buddhist teachings.
Yeah.
Like he totally accepts his situation and is like, well, I guess I'll be joyful.
Dude.
And continue to work and to do good things. And he has, you know, and he just radiates, even just listening to him talk, it's like it's just humbling, you know.
Okay. I'll I need that. I need Maron's saltiness in his opening, and then I need that beautiful joy.
I've gotten to the point that I skip Marin's monologues for the most part.
What?
Yeah, because I kind
No.
of know I need to listen to one since January
Yeah.
to see what he's got to say.
I have actually listened to some of his opening monologues since January 6th,
Yeah,
and it's every bit as, amazing and pointed and sharp as you think it would be,
yeah.
and kind of hopeless and angry. But I think I need that because I've been putting too much, I don't know, wholesome good truth. I need some Marin.
There you
So
go.
anyway, I have a thing, and
You have a
maybe
thing.
it kind of goes back to this, you know, maybe kind of where I'm at with my headspace. But so there was a conversation that happened sort of tangentially in my life where the idea, and I told you about this yesterday or the day before, the idea of, well, this whole pandemic, all of this isn't affecting me. And this was somebody else. And it was like, we need to get back to normal. Like when we get back to normal. And then I started thinking, like, in certain circles, in support groups, recovery rooms, whatever, school, whatever, churches, all these groups and societies that people are a part of, like the reconciliation that perhaps there is no getting back to normal. So I started thinking on that, and I'm like, well, that's absolutely the truth, as much as I hate to admit it, because this desire to go back to normal, quote unquote, is this attachment to something that we are projecting on our past that wasn't really there, because everything is transitory and impermanent. And so we are creating our own misery and pain by constantly hearing this message of, well, when things go back
Yeah,
to normal, it's like we're making it worse on ourselves. The
totally.
accepting, and I saw this article in the Wall Street Journal about how, like, this COVID thing's going to be around. It's like HIV or the measles. It's going to be around. It's not going anywhere. We're not curing it,
Right.
you know? So anyway, I just
We don't even know how it's going to behave over the next couple of years yet.
no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's only been a little over a year since it's kind of been a thing. And,
Right.
you know, uh, yeah. So, like, this idea that, and this is
Not to
not to
mention
be,
the fact that we have a pretty substantial percentage of our population that isn't going to get vaccinated.
even though I just saw it, like, right before I came downstairs, I saw on the news that the White House just secured a deal for 200 million more doses of the vaccine to be,
That's
so
good.
they're on par to get 300 million vaccines by July, which is amazing.
That's
news.
amazing. That's
It's
amazing.
amazing news.
Given that
But-
our population's about 330 million, give or take.
Right. So that's amazing news. But at the same time, I'm like, I mean, yeah, I don't think just because we all get vaccinated, everything goes back to normal. In fact, that desire for things to go back to normal is it goes back to the whole idea of, like, samsara is like you're creating your own wheel of suffering by your craving for, it's the second noble truth. It's like there is a pathway to suffering, and that pathway includes craving things and running away from things, and it's just like I hear. And so that conversation that sort of happened tangentially around me, there's a lot of us that are really and I'm not speaking from any spiritual hilltop, because I'm totally there. I want to go to concerts. I want to go to concerts so bad.
Right.
And I do think we'll get to that, but I think that it's always, I don't know, I think we're always going to kind of be in this spot. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to wrap it out with you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be pandemic related, but this idea of, like, that time was so great, or this time in the future when this thing happens, I will be okay.
There's that's, and I don't know if it's uniquely American, but I believe that there's a substantial percentage of our population, well, the boomers, I guess,
Right.
now that I think about it, that
Mhm.
really want things to be 1956 America.
Right. Because why?
Because you could, for example, work a job with a high school education and retire.
Right. Well,
Like you could do that.
and that particular time frame benefited a very small fraction of, well, maybe not a small fraction, but it benefited a certain demographic of people.
Yeah, white people.
and male.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
And so this idea of like, well,
Wait, so, but Joel, if the men are out working the job so they can retire, surely the least the women could do is provide them a good meal at the end of the day.
I know you're being facetious.
Yes.
I just did. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope that came through.
Yeah, it does. By now, I think our listeners will know when you start in with the, but Joel, that means it's sarcasm time.
Yeah. I was on a work trip at this little town. Well, Winona, Minnesota is where we were kind of basing out of, up on the Mississippi River. Is kind of the mouth of the Mississippi, or the beginning of it in this country, or close to it. Anyway, point being, nice little town. And it was pretty, and was there during like a kind of a scenic time, you know.
What just happened?
What's that? Kind of froze a little bit. Anyway, and so me and my coworker had some time to kill one evening, so we're just out driving around. It happened to be like their little car cruise night or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so everybody was hanging out at the Dairy Suite, you know, and there was music playing, and you know, kind of, you know, the local muscle car crew and just some other cars. It was kind of fun. And
I'm picturing poodle skirts and roller skates.
Well, that was kind of the thing. Like that was the vibe. And I really had this moment of like, oh my God, this is what, like, some people, like, this is heaven.
Yeah.
Because it really was quite nice. I'm walking around eating a strawberry shake and looking at cars and people, and frankly having a pretty delightful time, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
And I and so I was kind of talking about my coworker. He goes, yeah, there weren't a lot of colored people there.
No,
there's
no. And you go back to this idea of like, you know, and this kind of relates to the whole Make America Great Again mythos.
Yeah.
Of like, well, we need to get back to that because it was so beneficial to me.
Right. Because if you back to Minnesota, Minnesota has a pretty not great relationship with like Native Americans.
No.
And African Americans.
Yeah.
Like Bob Dylan's The Line, they're selling postcards of the hanging. Like they did that in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So it's
they did
like
that at a lot of places.
Well, see, there you have it. So it's like
they sold a lot more than postcards too, which is something I want to get into. But
my point being is like, so that really, I mean, that eating that strawberry malt or whatever, walking around the cars thinking, you know what, this is really nice. It's like, right. Right. It's nice because I'm a white man.
Yeah.
That's welcome here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's privilege. I mean, and I think that I think you can connect the dots too with the folks that right now, I mean, and I was thinking about this as I was watching the second impeachment, the insurrection footage. I'm like,
God,
you know, these folks were pushed to their breaking point because they were unable to deal with how everybody's, I mean, there's racism, there's definite like white supremacist tones there, but I think that's part of it. It's like there's a bunch of scared kids who don't have any way to deal with this stuff,
right?
And then they have their dear leader basically saying, "Fight for me." Right. You know, they're stealing it from you.
Well, at a certain point, and that's, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I think that it's like when you well, it's not just dear leader, it's, you know, I don't even want to say his fucking name, you know, the loud radio guy.
Oh, okay. Alex Jones.
Well, him, but I was thinking the Limbaugh.
Oh, right.
That shit. And just anyway, if that's like, I kind of feel, what am I trying to say? You know, if this is what you do, please hope I'm not judging, but it's like for like in the morning, like I've really gotten into this habit of listening to, you know, wholesome meditation, or at least something genuinely thought provoking, like Mark Maron and the people he interviews. If I had to listen to the Morning Zoo radio show, I'd kill myself.
Yeah, the zany
guy, you know, and
the cooter,
and the baffled and confused woman. Oh, guys,
right?
You know, that thing.
Yeah,
I just, anyway. My point is that like, I feel it makes me sad to think that there's that many people out there that all they have for like entertainment and thought guidance production is fuck those libtards. They're coming for
Right.
your stuff.
Exactly.
And it's like, what?
Well, but even beyond like the radio personality, though, I mean, the president of the United States is to blame, like the former president. You know what I mean? Like, so when you see that, but going back to the point of like, what takes a person to that breaking point?
He was so very afraid
yes.
of not being president anymore.
Yes.
That he was willing to have people killed.
And there's something really, really important for us to, for me to take away from that. Because a couple podcasts ago, I said you have to impeach the Trump within you, right? So the Trump within me, it has, or the dictator, let's say,
sure,
the despot, zany, fascist dictator.
Yeah,
you have to remove that person from your own country inside of you. But the thing is that I have that bone in my body because I don't like change either. And I don't like giving up something that makes me feel comfortable and powerful. And I will fight. And there's a, you have to die to that. And I think, and so that's really part of like pandemic, like our life, our ability to go to the movies, go to concert, go to baseball games, go to bars, go to meetings, go to therapy, go to work. Everything is, you go to the grocery store. That happened overnight. And so this whole clinging and grasping for things to go back to normal, some of us have had the privilege that not much has changed for them.
Right.
And some of us, a lower economic class, people of color, people in different marginalized communities are like, well, how come those folks don't have to do the thing and they're freaking out because they can't get their hair cut? But this is affecting my cousins, my brothers, my children immediately. And the healthcare
and dramatically. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's like this, I think what this is exposing in a lot of ways, from insurrectionists to people, refusing to wear masks or get vaccinated. It's like, well, we just need to get back to normal. We need to go back to the way things were. That's all a very human trait of painting a picture about some time where your particular experience was comfortable and
it
saying,
was great.
it was great and I need to make it great again. And I will do whatever it takes to get back to that. The realness though, the thing that I think is maybe down to earth, acceptance or impermanence is that was never permanent. That was never a thing that was real. You're only projecting that from hindsight. And you're only craving something that is impossible for you to predict. The only thing you can really experience is in the moment. And in the moment, we're in the middle of a global fucking pandemic. Put your fucking mask on, take the jab, take the shot in your arm. Right. You know what I mean? Like people are dying who look different than you at alarming rates, and you can still be on your boat. That's fine. Just do the things,
Yeah.
Sorry, I talking for an hour there? I feel like
that was good though. And
that's what bummed me out. I'm like, you guys, like, stop saying. If this could teach us anything, is that the only thing we have is right in front of us right now with the people that you're with, and the only benefit you can be is in the right moment right now to yourself and to others, instead of, well, when we get back to normal and everything gets back to normal, it's like, let that go.
When everything gets back to normal.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a total lie.
It's a lie.
Because just look at the phrase, like the phrasing of it, back to normal. Like, I want to go back. I need to reclaim something that doesn't exist and try to manifest it in the future that doesn't exist.
But perception is reality.
Well, it can be.
Right.
And that's what I think is, so like, yes,
I think, because I was thinking about that. Like, you said it before I did, but like, I want to go to concerts. I want to be able to play concerts.
Yep.
I want to be able to go out to dinner with people.
Yeah.
and not risk getting everybody around me sick.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to go to the secret meetings with everybody else. I want to
sure.
hold hands. I want to drink shitty coffee.
Sure, I'll drink the shitty coffee. I do that at home anyway, but
you know, like I really do. I mean, I've been watching some live concert. I'm like, and listening to Grateful Dead concerts. I'm like, it's starting to sound like this relic, this thing that like this ancient way of doing things in my head. Like
on a certain level, I've always thought of it that way, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's like this thing that bygone days, like that was before the fall.
Right.
You know,
that was, I heard it said, and I really like this, in the before times. Well, I think it was Sharon Salzberg that says that.
Yeah.
That's where I got that from.
And I think there's something really wonderful about that. It's kind of being tongue in cheek, but it's also like, you know, there's a before and there's an after. And I think that the sooner we start accepting it, I think the possibility for solution is really clear. But as long as I'm clinging for something to come my way, or regretting something in the past, or refusing to take the solution in front of me because I just want something to be different, I'm always going to be miserable. And that's
all
like,
of those things can exist outside of pandemics.
Exactly.
It's like it's still we're still back to universal spiritual principles.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that if we can see it this way,
I think it doesn't matter whether there's a pandemic or not.
No,
that's all. It's kind of irrelevant, really.
That's what I was tripping on, and kind of what I wanted to talk about is that, like, you know, weirdly enough, and I love that I get to make this reference, because I think I know of at least one listener that's going to give me a hard time, but I love John Mayer, and I love his Instagram, and he does that Instagram live show, Current Mood. You ever watched that?
I haven't.
It's great. It's great.
Okay.
Anyway, right when the pandemic started,
of all the people that you or references, I was not expecting that to end on John Mayer.
Well, listen, he gave some really good truth the first few weeks of that pandemic in his Current Mood live Instagram show that I've used since. And this is, I think it applies.
Okay.
He said, he was talking about, like, when we're all watching the news and we're seeing numbers grow and we're seeing cases grow and we're seeing all this stuff happening. He's like, one thing that's really helpful, that really is useful for me to do is this a new problem, or is this the same problem with, different dressing? Are these numbers growing? Is that a new problem, or is that just the same problem? And like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was trying to mitigate anxiety by saying, like, when you see the numbers growing, that's not a new problem. That's the same problem. Same problem. Or like when people are refusing to do social distancing and wearing masks, and you keep seeing it, and you keep seeing it, and you keep seeing it. It's like, is that it? And I get angry every time. I'm like, it's the same problem, Same
as it ever was.
Exactly.
Same as it ever was.
So there's a lot of, you can connect a lot of dots. The universal truth of, like, I don't want to change. I don't want things to be different. I don't want to accept my current circumstances,
I read a thing. Well, there's a song, the New Riders of the Purple Sage have this song called Dirty Business. It's about a, kind of a fictional coal town situation, but it's actually based off of this Coal Creek War. And I highly recommend, you can just Google Coal Creek War and it comes up. And it's just a tale of, the state of Tennessee would rent their prisoners out for dirt cheap to undercut, they call them free miners, and just the struggles. I mean, it was really a thing. There was actually kind of a couple skirmishes about, multiple issues, but they all centered around greed.
Yeah.
It was just greed. The coal mining companies wouldn't give just the tiny living cost, wouldn't, for example, pay their free miners in cash instead of script for their company store. Right. And just issues like, you guys want cash? Oh, that's cool. Maybe we'll just hire the convicts. How's that sound?
Right.
Maybe you'll just go back to work for script.
Right.
And so that boiled over on a few different levels. But as I was reading through this, and this happened in the early 1900s, it's totally worth reading the wiki page on. As I was reading it, my primary thing was, well, nothing's changed.
Same problem.
It's the same problem. People are just trying to get by. And the man is saying, how about a subsistence living? And if you don't like it,
we hold all the cards. We hold all. I mean, the corporate, the corporate greed and the corporate rule holds all the cards.
It reminds me of that picture. That's actually the anniversary of it came up on one of the social medias, but of the picture of when Occupy Wall Street was just getting going, and they were having a march or whatever in New York City, and on this kind of outdoor balcony were a bunch of hedge fund people in tuxedos drinking champagne and laughing at them. It's a great picture. It's like, because they're like, look at all those losers.
Well, I saw
whatever, man. Keep chanting your little chants.
Well, that I bet it was around this. I wonder if it was around this. Well, this would have been a little earlier, but there was a video where Tom Morello shared it. It was early Rage Against the Machine when they were playing Sleep Now in the Fire on Wall Street, and I think they didn't have a permit to do it, and they just kind of did it sort of. Guerrilla style. But they had people like, day traders and, hedge fund just out there in their suits like, oh yeah, Rage Against the Machine. It's great on their lunch break, smoking a cigarette. Right. Like, I'm going to go back to, continuing to be the machine while you're out here raging. But, great
you guys sound great.
You guys sound really good.
Keep it up. You guys sound awesome.
Can I get a VIP spot at your next show?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to get back on the track, I mean, that's I think there's a lot of correlation. And the thing I guess I just wanted to process too is that the more that we continue to crave things that are no longer right here and right in front of us, the more we're making this experience worse for ourselves.
Totally.
Whatever that is for you, whether it's the pandemic or your job or your marriage, whatever,
kids,
you know what I mean? Like your addiction, it's like, I mean, that sounds really alcoholic to be like, this time it's going to be different. I'm going to get back.
This time it's going to be totally different. We're going to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And it's going to rock so hard. It's going to be great. It's going to be perfect.
This 6-pack is going to turn into that frat party that one time 10 years ago that everything was right.
Everything was right for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
I usually shot for 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes of serenity, and then I would always overshoot the mark.
Right. Since I've started my meditation practice, it's just the thing of just being where your breath is. This is the only moment that's real. It's the only thing that's real is I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And it's like, that's too simple. It's too simple. But to be able to come back to that it's just the most freeing thing. It's so freeing.
The freedom, the beauty of that, Steve, in the acceptance that every breath is different.
Yes.
Every moment. And like, a profound sort of experience I had in the idea of impermanence, which is kind of what we're talking about, or an attachment to, craving stuff to be a certain way and not realizing that everything changes. It's like, and it's a little cold to do out right now. If anybody's listening in a warmer climate, go sit in meditation outside and think about how everything around you can do it inside, I guess, but how everything is changing. Your breath is changing. Yeah. The house that you're meditating in is slowly deteriorating. The earth is spinning on its axis. Nothing is solid.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, this computer, this table, my phone, it's all on some level deteriorating. It will not be there. This sweater, my life, it's all going away.
Right.
But this idea that we can like reclaim something that was never permanent and try to make it permanent again, thinking it's going to make us permanently happy, is a constant manufacturing of our own pain and suffering.
Yes, which then causes people to act out in ways that are destructive.
Correct.
Yes.
Because
it's a lashing out. It's a kid throwing a temper tantrum.
Oh yeah, I was telling Kirsten the other day, like the longer I sit, the more I see the shit right now, and like in the mornings when I'm like, what it really is, I don't want, like, if I don't want to go to work, I just feel like a toddler who's crossed his arms and is stomping his feet, saying, I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I don't want to do this. And you asked me why. I'm like, I don't know, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And then you get there and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, and yeah, but I don't know. I think at some point in this podcast in the past, we used to kind of come to a conclusion of like, okay, how do we fix this?
I don't know if this is fixable.
It's not. It's like you have to accept it, or you can continue. Well,
I think you just said the magic words, because acceptance is the answer.
It is.
Yeah,
it totally is.
Yep. And
what do you need to accept right now, Steve?
Oh, well, I mean, all gestures broadly. I'm just gesturing broadly for those that can't see. I'm just, look
this,
right? Yeah. I mean, God, it's hard to, I wish that what's the pill where you just go back to thinking the steak's real? Which one is it?
I think it's the blue pill. I think the red pill takes you to
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I mean, are there days where I want to be a blue pill guy? Oh, you betcha.
Sure.
I wish that I could believe Pravda and just think, yep, it's all their fault. It's all the Chinese libtard fault. I mean, I wish that I could do that. And just go, yep, I'm gonna go just beat up some whatever, and just be cool with that.
Yeah.
Because that's how we do it.
But I think those folks are miserable too, because they're constantly trying to, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know that that's an easy way.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, if you're acting out in that way, there's some sadness there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, so you're saying like, if you have to accept the truth because you wish that you could just kind of tune out.
I mean, maybe that's the addict in me or whatever, but it's like, I don't want to all of this. Can I just take the blue pill?
Right.
And just think that everything's great again.
I mean, yeah.
Or, and I may have said this before, but I read a thing, whatever. It's a commentary of a comment of somebody saying that some people choose to love America the way a child loves their mother. Like, don't you say nothing bad about my mama, right? Love it or leave it, or whatever,
right.
And then some people choose to love America the way brothers love each other, which is that they, occasionally squabble, but it's over one brother saying to another, you're not right now.
Yeah, you're out of line, dude.
You're out of line. What are you doing? And then the brother will go, I don't. Yeah.
That's really interesting. You say that. I saw somebody who I was kind of surprised I was friends with on Facebook post something like, there was a skeleton sitting there with its hands under its chin saying, me waiting for all the Biden supporters to talk about how all the great things he's doing. And I was like, and I wanted to say, dude, we don't worship. You're not a fan of a president. Like, even the Obama worship got a little creepy. It's like, no, these are leaders. You criticize your leaders. That's what you do.
This is America.
Yeah, it should be boring policy is what we really should have.
Right. That's
not celebrity.
That's not good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to accept, Steve, what I am having a hard time really accepting. Well, there's a few things, but this is really a really mundane thing to say, but I have a hard time right now accepting the cold snap in Nebraska. That's
totally real.
But because it's coupled with like seasonal depression. It's coupled with, it's just cold. And I got really used to going outside on my bike for hours and spending time outside. And,
you know what the low is going to be Tuesday?
Good Lord, what?
-26.
Like the actual temp.
Yeah, not feels like or wind chill.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And what I've learned in meditation is like, well, thinking is happening. It's like, well,
Right.
my stomach gurgles, digestion is happening. My brain, my heart beats, my lungs breathe, my brain thinks. So the thing is like, it's kind of like, can be related to this acceptance of what's going on. It's like weather is happening. This is just weather is happening.
Just weather. Yeah.
Weather is happening.
As the song says, who can the weather command?
Right. And it's like, so
the only reason that the weather is bumming me out is because of the chickens. And I'm worried about their well-being.
Yeah.
And
you've got a heater in there.
Yeah, right? I do, but it's not, they're okay right now, but like that's been through like 0 and -2, not -26. So and -23 is Monday is what they're saying. So like that's weighing on my mind as a practical reality of having outdoor animals during this extreme cold weather. Right.
Yeah.
But it's not I'm tired of the weather. It's just to like what I need. Like, this is a real issue, that I need to address, that I don't know exactly what to do. So that brings up fear and,
but there's some real productivity, prudence there of like, so what, now what? It's like, okay, it is going to be 20
love
below.
That. So what? Now what?
Now what? Like, right. So what?
Okay. Yeah.
Weather is happening.
Weather is
Put
happening.
A coat on.
Right. Yeah.
Weather is happening. Start your car early. Weather is happening. Donate an old coat if you got it. Like, and the same applies to the pandemic. It's like, I was listening to Mary Stankovich again, and she was talking. I haven't finished the podcast, but Mary gave us a shout out once. I just have this fantasy that she listens, but like, she was talking about just podcast. Finding the joy. Like carving that joy out is so hard, but it can only happen when you let go of the craving.
Yeah.
Like, and greed and gratitude. Can greed and gratitude occupy the same space?
I mean, it's oil and water.
I don't think it can.
No, you can. There's that. I think there's that rush of getting the thing, but that's not gratitude.
No. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No, it's that hit every time I press the buy it now on Amazon.
Right.
This will fix me.
This will fix me.
I know. This will fix me. My Grateful Dead slippers didn't fix me, but I did buy some on Amazon.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Holly got me for my birthday, which is in June, and it just arrived.
Nice.
This really, really cool. It's a very nicely produced graphic novel about the first 5 years of the dead.
I forgot. I remember her showing me that.
Yeah. It's very cool. It's very well done. It's nothing that we haven't heard a million times, but the way it's presented is very cool. Yeah. And it's a high quality piece, and it was totally worth the wait. And it came with a record too. A remastered version of 68 show. I'm not sure.
Wow.
The exact one, but
good job, Holly.
Yeah, she nailed it. And it was totally worth the wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why I said that, where we got there.
We were talking about buying stuff online and giving us temporary
You
joy.
said Grateful Dead, and I got a thing.
Oh yeah.
I got something. I see how I circled that around back to about.
Yeah.
About me.
No, I completely get that though.
Nice segue back to me. all conversations are going to end up at me.
All roads lead to Steve.
Pretty much.
Oh, so anyway, I don't know. I continually let go. I want to ask you about the Dark Tower, but I want to give like a platitude. Be where your beak is.
Yeah.
Damn it. We've already covered this. Like, but it's like,
but this is one of those things you can't talk about enough. I don't think
you can, because I think we're all hitting walls. We keep hitting these walls, and it's like, there's a lot of hope in the news, but there's also like this acceptance, like the world won't be the same. Did airports function after 9/11? Of course they did. Was it a pain in the ass to take your, strip down to your skivvies every time?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a pain in the ass. Like flu season, we may have to be wearing masks. We're
Right.
all probably used to it, but most people don't vaccinate. So maybe every flu season we got to pop the masks on and it won't be that bad. It's like we'll get through it. But I'm tired of when we get back to normal, everything's going to be this. I'm like, man, I don't know if we are. And
I since last March, once I realized kind of what was happening, like, well, this is a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just accepted it. Like, here we go.
And there's people out there that really are like, my life hasn't changed at all. Nothing's different. I do everything I want. I'm like, well, you're delusional then.
Well, or one of the very few people that has like that doesn't have to like, oh, I don't know, go work in some horrible god awful retail store dealing with people that won't wear their mask because of their freedoms. Right. They don't have to deal with that shit every day.
Or at a meat packing plant where the administration tells you not to wear them at all.
Yeah, right. Or won't give them to you. Or yeah, right. Like that's but see, that's one of those things where it's always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
Where people that have no reason to care really about other people
don't have to.
Right. Like, well, whatever, my life hasn't changed. Oh, that battery plant in Bhopal, India exploded. Oh, well, doesn't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I still get my Duracells? I mean,
yeah, right.
Like, can I still go to Applebee's and watch the NFL?
Yeah, Applebee's. I need my appetizer platter.
Right.
Well, this is a reminder too, and I think you skillfully reminded me that we can have the safe respite and safe refuge of peace and joy with every breath, and every breath is an opportunity to recognize the truth and to let go of the things that are causing us suffering as a way to help other people.
That's been the thing. Like in the last year, like I am finding myself saying more like, wow, that person's really suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really a thought that ever like you can just see like, and I mean that, I mean, sometimes they're suffering because, they hit their thumb with a nail or a friend of their died, or they got brain cancer or that. I mean, and then there's like self-imposed suffering.
Right.
But I'm starting to see that in a compassionate light.
Well, I mean, the hitting the thumb with the hammer is a great analogy, because I think Thich Nhat Hanh gave this talk where he talked about that. Like if you hit your left hammer or your left hand with a hammer,
mm-hmm.
the left hand doesn't turn around and say, I'm going to hit you right hand. It's pain.
Right.
So the whole community or the body politic or your whole being takes time to take care of that pain. Your left hand doesn't want retaliation.
Right.
It recognizes that it did that to itself, but it also needs to heal. And I think that I think we're, what I mean? I think we're hopefully getting close to that. But you're right. That's a beautiful example of compassion. It's like when you see somebody, I did this meditation through Refuge Recovery that talked about, we see that some people are suffering because they are being oppressed. We also see that some people are suffering so much they are oppressing others.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So if you think about,
interesting.
You know what I mean? Like that's just, it's still human suffering. Some people are suffering so much that they're swimming in their own privilege and they're not going to do anything about it. Some people are suffering so much that they're taking it out on people below them or around them, or oppressing marginalized groups or whatever.
And that's the thing that's so hard. I talked about a little bit last week, is just the thing of like the idea for the people that are marginalized in this country, the people like I'm thinking about, well, let's just say white people that are living at or around the poverty line, who think that the primary causes of their woes is people with different skin color.
Right.
Like that's just, when the reality of it is that it's the system is rigged completely against them.
Right. Against them and everybody below them on the ladder.
Yeah. So, if we can keep the poor people fighting each other, the rich have nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
And then we're watching that happen writ large right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this memeified, and I don't know that it's actually true. I'm not an economist. This would be a good question for Brian, but it's like, back in March, if we would have paid everybody in America to stay home for 2 months, where would we have been? And, could we have had a normal quote unquote,
you can look
4th of July?
New Zealand is a little different country.
Sure.
Than ours on a lot of levels, but that's what they did.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good right now.
Yeah.
But they're also, an island nation.
Right.
It's pretty homogenous.
Right. Less population.
Yeah.
But still, the principle is there. They could have been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it ultimately probably would have cost us as a nation a lot less.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing this stuff after they get through the impeachment. It's like, what was it? Like $1.5 trillion budget plan. And it's just a rescue deal. I'm like, did we fuck ourselves even more because we weren't willing to?
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Yeah. The answer to that is yes.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to fuck ourselves.
Right.
And wave the flag the whole time we're doing it.
Yeah, baby. Wave that flag. Wave it wide and high. Keep fucking that chicken.
Keep fucking that chicken.
Dude, we don't touch that military budget. Whatever you do. No.
Or, well, I mean, for God's sakes, whatever you do, don't flood the economy with disposable income by canceling student loans.
Oh, how horrible would that be?
That would be awful.
Okay. We fixed it.
We're back to just opening cans of worms.
Yeah, exactly. Be where your beak is, guys. Meditate if you can. There's plenty of apps.
Because obviously it's working for us.
Well, it is. It is. This is what it comes with it. Like you start to see it. You're not radicalizing yourself. It's just saying, this is what comes with it. You start seeing it clearly. And I think that the ability to actually experience that breath home wherever you are, and the ability to overturn your shit at any moment is a fucking gift.
It's so huge.
Yeah.
It's really saved. I mean, I think my reaction, and, there are people close to me that may, cast a glance sideways at me for saying this, but I think that the pandemic has gone really pretty well in terms of my head and my attitude towards it. I've been really, really, really furious about so many things.
Sure.
That are so far out of my control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, it goes back to the thing. It's like, well, can you control it?
Yeah.
No. Well, then what's the point of being upset?
Right.
What's the point? If you can't do anything about it, and if you can do something about it, then do the thing you can do and don't be upset.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I've achieved that. I'm probably getting a C- in that area, but that's
passing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's passing.
That's what I'm
saying. It has saved my life quite literally. It's saved my sanity. I don't think I've ever I don't think I've told you this, so I'm going to reveal it on the podcast. In March, I thought about buying a handgun. I'm like, yeah, shit's going to go south. Me, who is completely anti-gun. And I was just like, but meditation brought me off a ledge. I'm like,
wow.
Not that I was going to do any harm with it, but I'm like, well, if this turns into The Stand, I'm going to need a fucking gun.
Why don't you get a shotgun?
Because I don't want a gun at all. I'm willing to go down as the guy, as the monk who sets himself on fire in the square. You know what I mean?
Right. I understand.
I don't think I can be the gun guy. I don't think
they're coming for you. They're coming for your stuff, Joel.
They can't have my PlayStation. They can't have my records, but I guess they can have.
Can't need that handgun, buddy.
They can have the Night Flight compilation. Do you remember this?
Is that a K-Tel record?
Dude, K-Tel. It is. It's K-Tel.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I got this.
So great.
Yeah. And
what's the opening track on it?
Dude, I can't go for that. No can do. Hall & Oates, baby. We got Air Supply, Here I Am. Oh
my
no,
God.
the Commodores.
Oh my God.
Take
It's so
my heart.
good.
You can have it if you want it. Cool in the Gang. So much music to put on the Instagram. I'm so excited, dude. Oh, the theme from This American Hero is the top of side 2. Night Flight.
I'm so happy right now.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air, Steve.
I believe it. That's delightful.
So, okay, references. I'm not forgetting this. Did you start the Dark Tower?
I did start the Dark Tower.
Where are you at with the Dark Tower?
Something about a chef and somebody getting poisoned.
Whoa. Are you in the first book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm probably halfway into that, and it expired. My loan checkout expired, so I got to hold on it again.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's really good.
Dude, that first book is just scratching the surface, my man. I can't wait.
Right.
I can't wait till it starts tearing your brain open a little bit and we can talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in. It's going to take me a couple of years probably, but
yeah, that's fine. There's like 8 books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they just get longer and longer.
Oh my.
And there's one book. Okay, so there's one book that's a story within the story.
Uh-huh.
And then he wrote a book after he finished the series and plugged it into it's like book 4.5. That's a story within the story within a story.
Okay. All right.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Was there more to that?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I'm just excited for you to read The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I thought of it because you said something about all things come back to me, and I was going to say all things follow the beam, but you wouldn't get the reference yet.
Oh, well, as a fan of Mickey Hart, I'd say that I do.
See, there is yeah, I can't wait.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I chewed through The Stand pretty quickly, but that's like a small chunk of the Dark Tower series.
Speaking of The Stand, Kirsten and I started watching the first episode and a half.
Is it any good? Is it good?
The latest. Okay, it's too good. It's scary. The first part of that book is all about Captain Tripp's pandemic and all that shit. They do that so scarily well that it's too close to home. It's I'm like Kirsten and I were like, we have a rule in our house. When we start getting close to bedtime, we can't watch scary or shit. Right. We call it soft hours. So we watch like Cosmos. Soft hours.
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. But
have a laugh.
If you're into it, if you've read the book, you know where it's going.
Yeah.
But it was so spot on and scary.
I mean, that's what I've been saying for a year now. It's like, well, it's not like it's The Stand.
It's not. I mean, maybe these variants will eventually get there. So it's
maybe. I have to admit, there's a part of me that's kind of bummed that it's not.
I am not bummed at all.
Well, I'm kind of being facetious, but I mean, because frankly, it'd be really gross.
Yes.
So many dead people,
and we'd be like living in vans and I don't know, eating dogs or something. I don't know.
That doesn't appeal to me very much, but
that running around we'd have to form tribes and paint our faces and stuff.
Apparently that's already happened, Joel. Apparently.
Oh my God.
See,
we've been boiled like the frog. Just been boiled a little.
That's very true. That's been happening for a long time.
Yeah, dude.
It's been happening for a long time.
Yeah. I don't want it to be like The Stand. I'd rather like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind situation happen.
That'd be good too. Yeah.
Just the Deus Ex Machina of aliens coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
With the cure, but also we have to take half the human race to, halfway across the universe or something.
Sure. What was the Kurt Vonnegut book where the guy goes to the planet? There may be a couple of them. Is it? It's not Slaughterhouse 5, is it?
Traumaphidor or whatever.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Well, no, that shows up in a couple of books. It's definitely in.
Is that Breakfast of Champions?
It's Breakfast of Champions. I think it's also in Slaughterhouse 5 about the alien beings that exist through time. You can see them as babies and as old men at the same time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah, I do too. Ian, thank you for turning me on to him. I really wish that I would have read all that in high school. It would have helped a lot, I think. I
can't believe I read a lot of that in high school. I
read a lot, actually.
Dude, I mean, it felt it was intellectual enough that it was blowing my mind, but it was hilarious and sort of irreverent enough that I was like, yucking it up. I mean, especially Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah. Even
Slaughterhouse-Five made me weep, but
well, just that I was hooked it, so it goes.
Yeah.
Like that's such a perfect mechanism for that book.
Well, I do want that and I don't think I'll have a tombstone, but if I did, I would want it to say everything was beautiful and nothing hurt.
Oh, wow. Well, I was going to say just so it goes.
So it goes. Yeah. That.
Well, speaking of, have we gone? Do it?
I think we're done, man. Well, find us on the Instagram, follow us, share it with your friends, tell your grandma, tell your cousin.
Speaking of, my mom, listen, she likes it. So that's good.
Oh,
I know. Mom.
Thanks, Mom. I think my mom listened to it. I think my mom listens. I'm surprised.
I know another friend of ours whose mom listens to it.
Who's that?
Our friend Aaron. His mom listens out in Montana. Yeah.
Hi, Aaron's mom.
Yeah.
Braving the colds of Montana, listening to
and that's like, and as I was complaining about -23 and -26, I'm like, we don't live in North Dakota,
dude. Well, my friend Jeremy went. I asked him the other day and I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, cold. He lives in Minneapolis. It's well, it's a heat wave down here compared to Minneapolis right now.
We're okay. All right, man. I love you.
Love you too, man. Toot your hooter.
Toot your hooter.
Send us an email. I swear to God, Eduardo, I'm going to get your gift to you.
Yeah, dude.
It's going to happen. All right. That's it.
All right. Later.
Bye.